from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Ubi Hettiarachchi.
A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifah Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
Presidential statement that Sri Lanka's economy would be restored within the next 2 years. The budget head of the Ministry of Defence passed by a majority of 68 votes. The President proposes to set up a select committee to look into the activities of the Constitutional Council. Floods and earth slips in many areas. Further discussions for a 4-day ceasefire in the Gaza Strip.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. Taking a look at local news first. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says a parliamentary select committee should be appointed to look into the activities of the Constitutional Council.
The President made these remarks participating on the debate on the budget head of the Ministry of Defence at the committee stage in Parliament today.
Provide a reply, but I need to know what's the issue, please?
Why? I said I don't know, you should know better, you are a member. Why the small party representative is not on the Constitutional Council? From what was told to me was that there is a dispute between the smaller parties as to who should be the representative. I said I have no objection to Mr. Siddhartha.
As far as I'm concerned, the Speaker had made a query from the TNA as to who their consensus person is, and that is Honourable Siddharthan.
Yes.
And we are also of the opinion that Honourable Siddharthan has to be appointed. But the Speaker has had a problem in coming to a decision. Nothing at all to do with the opposition, the SJB or the SJB
I'm not talking about
I'm just trying to clarify. So I think this is a matter you should get clarified from the Honourable Speaker.
But apparently there is a problem between these different groups. I think Honourable Siddharthan is there, he can tell you, within your own ranks, not the SJB, beyond that, there are issues. So what can there nothing that I can do on it. If I had the power, I'll appoint Mr. Siddharthan. But honourable member.
Honourable President, Honourable Siddharthan is here on the floor of the House. He himself knows very well how we have supported his candidature and also his appointment. And similar to you, if I also had the power, I would also appoint Honourable Siddharthan. But we are not empowered to do that. So what I would recommend to you, Honourable President, if you can please instruct the Honourable Chair to make a request for the Honourable Speaker to come. He will be able to better clarify the situation. He will be able to better clarify the situation.
I can't hear, so let him make a statement later. But the problem is, you all recognize Professor G.L.P. Idris as a party. So moment you recognize them as a party, then they can also make, that group also make a claim. They are not a party. They are under the, they were elected here. He was the, ask the former president.
Honourable President.
So you all went and recognized this. They shouldn't have had front row seats. They should have been in the, behind that. You gave them front row seats. You all are working. You all now have a agreement also to contest together. I have no problems on that. But the whole thing arose. If you didn't give them front row seats, Mr. Siddharthan, Honourable Siddharthan would be in the Constitutional Council. Now what can I do?
Honourable President.
Yes.
I'm absolutely amazed at your ignorance. I mean, if you are telling me that we have the power as an opposition to recognize parties, that is a duty that is bestowed on the Speaker, not the leader of the opposition. I'm amazed about your ignorance about parliamentary activity. And they are separate identities. That's the prerogative of the Speaker, not the opposition leader.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition, I accept the fact that the Speaker has to allocate the seats. But generally the practice has been, before the Speaker allocates, on the opposition side, they ask both the government and the opposition instances like this. I thought you all had agreed. I'm sorry that you all had not agreed. Then you agreed with the former President. We can all ask that they shouldn't be given front row seats. You don't agree, we don't agree. Why should we give them front row seats? Then Honourable Honorable Siddharth, he also agreed they should be given a front row seat. So it is recorded here that both sides have agreed that they can't be given front row seats. So a copy of this can be given to the Speaker tomorrow.
Honorable President, please don't attempt to put words into my mouth, okay? It's not a matter of us agreeing and you agreeing or whatever. It's the prerogative of the Speaker. Speaker is bestowed with the responsibility of recognizing political parties.
So don't you accept the fact that they should not be given front row seats? Do you accept the fact? I thought you were against them being given front row seats because you said you were not for it. You are not being... So tell us whether you are for or against it, that's all we want to know.
Honorable President, whether we are in the front, whether we are in the back, or whether we are in the middle, those are all decided by the people of the country. People's sovereignty. So let's go for elections. Then the people will decide whether we are on the front or the middle or the back or wherever, whether we are in the government or whether we are in the opposition.
These were the group that was elected on the coattails or the satake of the former president. Without that, they wouldn't have been elected. Now they are part of the SLPP. Now they have come here. So it's not a question of elections. Then they should come back here. Otherwise, resign and say we are going for elections. Now, do you say, I suppose you agree with me that they are not entitled to front row seats?
The theory that you are expounding should be applicable to the SJB MPs who went on to your side.
Yes, so
if
why
you are saying so.
So you are,
if you are saying, if you are asking these who contested from the Satakaya should resign, what should the SJBs who crossed the floor and joined you, should they resign?
They crossed over and now you have sacked them and you have filed action. So if the court says that they have been lawfully sacked, then they have to resign. Their seat is vacant. But on the other hand, if the court says it has not been lawfully sacked and you all are still members of the UNP, then you have to come and join me.
Mr. President,
I'm saying that
you are not an elected dictatorship now.
I'm not dictatorship.
In Lord Hailsham's words.
You are still a member of the UNP.
I'm afraid the people who are managing the mics, I'm telling you with respect, and the video cameras, they are not acting partially. I know you are not of that opinion. Please instruct these officials to make sure that the videography is done in the proper order. Because I watch these things. It's very unfair. Please don't be prejudicial and partial, and don't be discriminatory.
Honorable Chair, I agree with him. Have the camera all the time on him, don't have it on me. I can't.
Mr. President.
Yes, so I've given you the camera.
Mr. President, this is not the UNP working committee. This is not the UNP working committee.
It's not.
Don't twist words. I never said that. Don't twist my words.
No,
and don't misinterpret what I say.
I am making a request. All the camera should be on you all the time. Now they are turning on me. They shouldn't do it. They should turn it on you.
I'm very sorry at the childishness of the so-called head of state of our country. Extremely childish.
I want the honourable member to speak.
Budget head of the Ministry of Defence were passed by a majority of 68 votes without revisions at the committee stage debate on the 2024 appropriation draft bill in Parliament today. 76 votes were cast in favour and only 8 against. Agile Ilangai Tamil Congress Party parliamentarian G.G. Punnambalam has requested a vote on the votes of the Ministry of Defence. Here are some opinions expressed by people's representatives at the committee stage debate on the Ministries of Defence and Public Security. Parliamentarian Sarath Fonseca said that the budget for next year has allocated a sum of 423 billion rupees for the 3 armed forces, the police and the civil defence task force. This means that 12 billion rupees more have been allocated than the year 2023. The parliamentarian further said certain economic specialists say that the amount reserved for defence was too high. The parliamentarian added that, however, the economy will not be protected in places where there is no security. State Minister of Defence Pramita Bandara Thennakoon said that they are taking measures to reduce the number of approved cadres in the army by 100,000 by the year 2030. Measures are underway to reduce the number of Air Force personnel by 20,000. The State Minister added that, however, they will not take action to remove 3 armed forces personnel from service. Minister Tiranala said that the Aragalia has increased underworld activities and drugs in the country. He told Parliament that police had to fully focus on Aragalia and related incidents for about a year, which prevented them from engaging in other activities. He also said that drugs and underworld activities had increased during this period. They are taking measures to gradually curb the underworld and drug. The minister said that there were more than 20,000 vacancies in the police department and that steps were being taken to fill these vacancies step by step due to the economic crisis. He further said that they have recruited 2,000 police personnel this year. They are planning to recruit 5,000 police personnel next year.
Earthslips and floods continue to be reported from several parts of the island. Another landslide has taken part in upcountry railway line in midnight last night. Our correspondent says train transport has been obstructed due to earthslips in Haliala, Udurara. Meanwhile, upcountry trains transport in Badulla has been restricted to Nanuaya until further notice. The railway department says falling off boulders and earth mounds in the railway track has forced them to restrict transport. The Department of Irrigation says prevailing heavy rainfall has rapidly increased water levels in many rivers and reservoirs. The Castley Reservoir has been overflowing since dawn today. Engineers in charge of Lakshapana, New Lakshapana, Canyon, Vimala Surendra and Polpati Hydro Power Electricity Generating Stations say they are in a position to generate power at a maximum extent. The Vimala Surendra Reservoir water level has exceeded the spill levels several days ago. The Disaster Management Unit requests residents living along Kalani River to remain vigilant as water levels are rising. The Vaunia district is receiving a heavy rainfall. Two sluice gates of the 27,000 acre-feet Pavakulam Reservoir remains open to release 680 cubic feet of water in a second. The district secretary cautions people living in low-lying areas to remain vigilant. Engineers in charge of Samanalavawa have taken measures to release waters of the reservoir to Valave River this afternoon after the reservoir began overflowing. Water level in the Valave River has gone up due to the opening of 5 sluice gates in Nodavala Reservoir. As a result, several areas including Vardrupa, Mamadala and Ridiyagama in the Ambalantara Divisional Secretariat have come under water. It has been reported that water levels in the reservoirs under the Department of Irrigation have exceeded 70% capacity. The Department of Irrigation said that water levels in the reservoir maintained by Mahavali Authority or have also exceeded 80% capacity.
Consultant physician on children's disease Deepal Pereira requests not to take antibiotics without medical recommendations. He was expressing opinions relating to the week on enlightening worldwide antibiotics being conducted from the 18th to the 24th of this month. Consultant physician on children's disease Deepal Pereira has requested not to give antibiotics to children unless it is extremely necessary. He points out that provision of antibiotics in an unnecessary manner could lead to unresponsiveness to bacteria in the body. Even conducive bacteria could get killed in the process. Antibiotics should be given only at times of bacterial infections. Antibiotics are not necessary for viral fever. In the case of diarrhea also, antibiotics are irrelevant. Giving antibiotics for viral fever causes grave injustice to children. Dr. Deepal has also stated that if the trend continues in another 50 years' time, all patients would have to face dire consequences for not having antibiotics in a proper manner. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expresses hope of restoring the economy of the country in the next 2 years by embarking upon a new economic journey.
In an interview with the YouTube channel First Post of India, the President pointed out measures are underway to streamline the mechanism for collection of state revenue.
What is the most difficult part of your job?
ජනාධිපති ලෙස ඔබේ රාජකාරියේ අමාරුම කොටස කුමක්ද?
මුලින්ම අපි මුහුණ දීලා තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නය ගැන රටේ ජනතාවට යථාබෝධයක් ලබා දීම. ඔවුන්ට කියන්න වුණා මා සතුව මැජික් යෂ්ටියක් නැති බව. ඒ වගේම මේ අවස්ථාවේ දෙන්න දෙයක්වත් නැහැ කියලා. මට ඔවුන්ගෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටින්න උනේ මේ වේදනාව තවත් කාලයකට දරා ගන්න කියලා. ඒත් මම දෙන්න පුළුවන් හැම සහනයක්ම දෙනවා. ඒක තමයි මට තියෙන අමාරුම රාජකාරිය.
හුඟක් දේශපාලනඥයින් එහෙම කියන්නේ නැහැ.
මට උන්ට බලාපොරොත්තුවක් ලබා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔවුන්ට යහපත් අනාගතයක් ලබා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒත් අපි අමාරු කාලයක් තරණය කළ යුතුයි.
The sale of tickets in the expressways yesterday was as usual, despite the fact that all employees, including cashiers, withdrew from their services yesterday. The work has been totally handled by the Defence Division officials yesterday. The revenue from sale of tickets in the highways from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. yesterday was 12,047,755 rupees. It has also been pointed out that, however, only 21,037,900 rupees were earned through sale of tickets from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. last Wednesday. Accordingly, the Road Development Authority were able to increase the income by 13,855 rupees within 10-hour period yesterday in comparison to the figure recorded last Wednesday. In the meantime, beautiful scenes of swarms of dolphins is a common sight in the Kalpitiya seas these days.
A large number of local and foreign tourists flock to the Kalpitiya beach to watch the spectacles. Dolphins are considered as a species of relatively high intelligence. These animals could be seen at a distance of 306 kilometers from the coast in the seas. Dolphins dancing on water surfaces could be observed from the beginning of November up to April and May of next year. The wildlife ranger officers of Department of Wildlife Conservation grants permission to tourist boat services from corridors of Kankudithiya and Kudava and Illanthuriya. 116 boats have been preserved for tourists to reach Kalpitiya seas within a minimum period to watch the dolphins. However, many boat tours say that the arrival of foreign tourists are at a minimum level these days.
Prizes were handed over to the winners of Development Lotteries Board lottery tickets in the Central Province. This board, Ajit Naragala, has presided over the event at the Kandy Central Market held today. 8 lottery winners who have purchased tickets in the Kandy town and surrounding areas have received their prizes valued at 15 million rupees. 8 lottery agents have also been felicitated. Accountant of the Kandy Municipal Council, Danushka Agalavatta, and Assistant General Manager Marketing of the Development Lotteries Board, Chintaka Alaperuma, have also participated in the event. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed hope of restoring the economy of the country in the next 2 years by embarking upon a new economic journey.
Now for a look at again the interview between President and the YouTube channel First Post of India.
What is the most difficult part of your job, sir, as President of Sri Lanka?
No, first was to make the country realize the problems we are facing and say that I had no magic wand and had nothing to give. I could only ask, I had only to request that they may have to bear up this pain for some more time.
Nothing to give and you have to suffer the pain.
Well, I could give them hope and I could give them a better future. But we have to go through a difficult time.
Let's talk about the economy. How is the Sri Lankan economy doing now? Is it out of the woods yet?
It's not yet out of the wood, it is coming out of the woods. I would say we finished everything. Okay, we are able to meet the benchmarks that the IMF has put, but still 2 issues are there. One, we still have to balance the budget. Secondly, is a question of the trade balance, which is not in our favor. As far as the domestic budget is concerned, we have to increase our revenues. It's partly affected by the fact that we have a revenue collection machinery is not updated. We've always focused on a few. Secondly, the economy has not picked up. That's also another reason for affecting the revenue. But I think 2024, 25 onwards, it will be better. But we can't go on as this traditional way. We have to have a new economy. And that's what we are planning for and going ahead.
And ships have been coming to Sri Lanka as well. Two ships came from China in the last 1 year to Sri Lanka.
But why are you asking me? I mean...
No. My question is that those two ships came and the US and India expressed concern, and experts said that they were spy ships. Is that a characterization you agree with?
First one we asked for evidence is a spy ship. There was no evidence. Second one we had allowed it. We allowed the ship to come. And they were in this area. It was not an issue at all. What is a spy ship is a big question mark. These are civilian ships. But if there are issues, if they are spy ships, we will not allow them to come in. But as far as exploration is concerned, we allow not only Chinese ships, but other ships. But no one highlights the fact that other ships also come to Sri Lanka. Each time a Chinese ship comes, we get a lot of publicity. But if a ship, research ship comes from another country, we are ignored.
For example?
They come in. There's a French ship due. So we are going to now develop our own hydrography unit and get our own ships. Then we can do surveys around India and China both.
That sounds like a good plan. But in the meantime, would you welcome more such research ships from China, or would you want Beijing to stop sending them?
We will welcome any research ship. We have no problems at all, as long as it's for research.
Would you allow China to also dock a military ship in Sri Lanka?
We have always allowed. All ships, military ships from any country, they are all docking Colombo.
So you're okay with that?
Well, they have all been doing. Indians, Chinese, Russians, Americans, everyone comes to Colombo. Hambantota, we find the Japanese are not going there. No Chinese ship has gone so far.
Do you feel that Sri Lanka is caught in the great power battle between India and China?
There's a great power battle between not only India and China, between China and US. So India and all is a part of that. India is worried about its own security, and we have said if there anything that affects India's national security, we feel so, we will certainly act.
Health Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana says that medical supplies and emergency purchasing of medicine have been fully halted.
He made these remarks addressing a media briefing at the Ministry of Health today. Health Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana said that attention was drawn to restore the medical procurement process and to conduct activities in a transparent manner. The minister also said new chairmen have been appointed to the Medical Supplies Division as well as the Drug Regulation Authority. A major problem confronted by the country is not developing laboratories for the standardization investigations on medical items. The minister also said financial allocations have been made in this connection. Upgrading laboratory facilities in Medical Supplies Division as well as the Drug Regulation Authority could be facilitating conducting experiments with great ease.
And now let's take a look at some local news items in brief. Excavations in the southern tunnel opening in the 28-kilometer-long tunnelway in Mahayala in the North Central Province has got underway in the Konduruwava in Polonnaruwa today. Minister Roshan Ranasinghe has presided over the event. World Youth Festival is scheduled to be conducted at the Sochi Olympic Park in Russia from the 1st to the 7th of March next year. An objective of the event is to unify the world youth community to the concepts of equality and mutual respect. Youth leaders of 180 countries represented in numerous fields are scheduled to attend the event. A program to provide educational opportunities for 300 Sri Lankan youth at the Park East University in South Korea has commenced at the Chandra Mandapa Hall in Polonnaruwa yesterday. A Korean delegation headed by the Vice-Chancellor of the university as well as officials of the National Youth Services Council were present on the occasion. Degree and diploma certificate presentation of the Sri Lanka Chemistry Institute was held in Colombo yesterday. 173 chemistry graduates and 50 chemistry technology diploma holders have received certificates on this occasion. Professor Gamini Rajapaksha of the University of Peradeniya, President of the Sri Lanka Chemistry Institute, Professor Namal Priyantha and Professor Shiranti Dharanyagala were present at this occasion. Well, that's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas.
People's discount got a December
டிசம்பரில் கரம் நிறைய வாசி தரும் பீப்பிள்ஸ் கிரெடிட் கார்டிடமிருந்து தேர்ந்தெடுக்கப்பட்ட முன்னணி வர்த்தக நிலையங்களில் 75% வரையிலான ஏராளமான கழிவுகள். உங்கள் கொள்வனவுகளுக்கு வட்டியில்லா தவணை முறை கொடுப்பனவு வசதிகள். நீங்களும் இன்றைய அருகில் இருக்கும் மக்கள் வங்கியில் பீப்பிள்ஸ் கிரெடிட் கார்டு ஒன்றினை பெற்றுக் கொள்ளுங்கள்.
Now on foreign news, a look at the situation in Israel. Qatar, which has been mediating between Israel and Hamas, has just announced the temporary ceasefire in Gaza that will start tomorrow.
A spokesman for the Qatari Foreign Ministry has been giving some details of the deal under which some hostages will be released in exchange for a 4-day pause. Qatari Foreign Ministry says a list of the civilians to be released from Gaza has been received, and the first group of civilians will be released at 4 p.m. tomorrow Israel time. It further said that the criterion who is to be released was purely humanitarian and getting women and children out of harm's way as soon as possible. An Israeli government source is told that Hamas has made additional demands to the deal, though it's not clear what those demands are. As part of the agreement, 50 Israeli hostages are due to be freed by Hamas and 150 Palestinian detainees released by Israel, along with a 4-day temporary pause in fighting. The deal was originally due to go ahead this morning, but was delayed until tomorrow following an announcement by the Israeli government last night. Moving on to some sports news updates, a 6-year cricket ban has been imposed on former West Indian batsman Marlon Samuels as a result of engaging in cricket-related frauds. According to foreign media, he has violated 4 anti-corruption laws of the Emirates Board of Control for Cricket. The charges have been levelled against him during the Abu Dhabi T10 tournament in 2019. It has also been reported that the cricket ban was imposed by an independent board of investigation. Accordingly, the punishment against him has become effective from the 11th of this month. Samuels, who has already retired from international cricket, has represented the West Indies in 207 one-day international, 71 test matches and 67 T20 matches. A row was reported to have erupted among spectators during a football match between Brazil and Argentina. The incident has occurred at a 2026 World Cup qualifying match among South American teams. The match was played at the Maracanã Stadium in Brazil. It has also been reported that Brazil police had violently assaulted Argentinian spectators at the stadium. Argentinian players, including Lionel Messi, upon hearing of the attack, have extended their protest in front of the stadium. Thereafter, they had left the grounds refusing to play. However, the conflict was resolved and play had resumed with a delay. Argentina won the match 1-0. Accordingly, Brazil, for the first time, was defeated in a World Cup qualifying match in their own country.
That's it for tonight's English News Telecast. Thank you for joining us.